Dwarves of this region never seen a unicorn, but they knew that it was a horse with a spike on its head. Party butchered a history check. Yeah, anyway, a giant rhino almost TPK'd them. Hey, what's up everybody, SwordThroatRay here, welcome to another DnDGreentext video. How are you guys doing? Welcome. Hope you have a wonderful day today. Before jumping into the video, I want to quickly kindly ask you, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, consider doing so now. It only takes a moment, you can undo it later if you want, and thanks so much if you do subscribe. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Not every game is a JRPG with God as the final boss. It matters. All of this matters. Level 9 Party. Plot. Party repeatedly up and let a guy sacrifice tens of thousands of people and became a god. Trekked through the astral plane searching for a weapon or something. Talking to an elder super god asking for a weapon to slay the evil god. Be paladin. Hey, please help us, we will do anything. Not be rogue. Calls super god a pathetic loser that can't do anything. Are you sure? Check 3 times. The rogue slowly becomes more transparent until ceasing to be. The rogue gets disbelieved out of existence by the super god. Super god blesses us all and allows us to kill the evil god. The rogue player is mad. He shouldn't be, Jesus Christ, you even gave him 3 chances to go back on that. Anon trusts a wizard. Posting spoops from a particularly scary session a few years back. 3.5 game. Party is me, Warlock, Crusader, and a cleric that traded away turning for something, which will be important later. We took on a job to clear out the catacombs nearby. As some backstory, the nation was invaded by a kingdom of necromancers forever ago that left a curse on the land, and as a result, any human that dies on this land and all bodies left lying around reanimate as various types of undead automatically after enough time passes. Because of this, people have a vested interest in clearing out all the old tombs of undead to stop them from attacking. One of the rules we were given was to turn in or destroy any and all magic items with a necromancy aura. In the process of clearing out the 3rd or 4th tomb of the week, we come across a wizard who's looking for historical artifacts from before the invasion that offers to help as long as he gets first dibs on that stuff. Cleric and I aren't fans of loot sharing with an NPC, but the Crusader was happy to have an arcane caster that did more than Eldritch vibe check, so we say yes silently, agreeing to kill him if the deal bites us in the ass. Things bite us in the ass. We crawl through one of the longer burial complexes and eventually come to something a little weird looking. After clearing things out, we find a bunch of old as bedrolls that have clearly been sitting here for a century or more, but are less ancient than everything else law here, with a wand that has a skull head next to them. I'm not sure what that sentence is trying to say, but I've read it as it is. Looks like peak related. The thing is clearly evil as and I don't even need to use my detect magic to know it's necromancy related. We talk amongst each other for a bit to decide what to do. You see, the people we were looking for use lie detection magic on people doing this job to make sure that they didn't find and keep anything sketchy. We thought this was BS, but we got to keep everything that wasn't necromantic, and this was the first time we found something like that. Quick detect magic plus spellcraft says it's a 1st level spell, so it's not a massive deal, but we're all annoyed that we can't keep it without them finding out and breaking a business relationship. Wizard tells us he'll buy it off of us for 5k. More than what the 1st level wand should sell for by a lot, to save us the trouble. We agree. This will bite us in the ass later. After we sell the wand, we head back to the tow with a bunch of look and proof of our tomb desecration. Lie detection magic says we didn't keep anything necromancy related, which was technically the truth. We go to the priest running the town to get our payment. While we were doing the obligatory congratulations and negotiation thing, the head honcho gets a message via sending. DM operates on OOTS logic, so we see the message as a holographic projection. Wizard we helped tells him to send word to the capital to release some wizards that were arrested recently. Priest gives the whole "we don't negotiate with criminals" speech. A second message comes in a few seconds later, telling him that the city will die to send a message then. We see him holding the wand from the tomb. So what was that 1st level spell he wanted so bad? A heavily meta magic detect city bomb. Suddenly, a layer of frost covers the entire city and everything else in a several dozen-mile radius. All the players take exactly 1 cold damage and a negative level. Not a big deal, right? Well, we see everyone in the room, including the apparently level 1 cleric that was running the town, drop dead. We put 2 and 2 together and realize that all the level 1 people in the city just lost a level and died instantly. We consider running out of the city to do something, but we just finished a long series of dungeon crawls and there are undead who just got a massive power boost outside the city walls, so we go somewhere to hold up for the night. It was at this point that it sunk in just how much we f***ed up. Almost everyone in the city dropped dead, most of them in the middle of the street, doing chores, playing with pets or children. We decided that killing this wizard was going to be our next priority first thing tomorrow. Unfortunately, we forgot what happens when someone dies to level drain. We all get woken up in the middle of the night by something banging on the door. Before we can sleep to recover any health or prepare spells, we have to get our asses up and check on what's making noise in the middle of a dead town. The door gets knocked down and a few wights pile in. It was at this exact point that we realized that we're pretty much the only warm bodies in a city full of level draining undead that just started to wake up. What followed was the Crusader and I blowing the f*** out of most of the 1 HD wights that came into the room in one round, but the Crusader gets very unlucky and takes 2 hits. For the uninitiated, that means he went down from being level 7 to level 5 effectively. Cleric can fix it, but he can't prepare spells until dawn, which was 4 hours from now. We run out of the building, avoiding conflict like the plague, because damage and hit chance or not, action economy is a when no one has AoEs left, and everyone can only take 7 hits or at most. We meet up with a few other survivors that were part of the town guard and start trying to formulate a strategy. After some deliberation, we decide that the church is probably the safest place since that was the first place they cleared out originally before things started reanimating and attacking them. So the 3 of us and a few guard NPCs start sneaking our way towards the church. Around the halfway point, we get ambushed by a couple dozen wights. The guards all got within 2 rounds of dying, but we all make a break for the church. Around the point when the last of those guards died, we managed to get inside and lock the door behind us. The still spell-deprived cleric shoves in front of the door while the Crusader and I take care of the wights that wandered inside. We quickly realize that the door ain't gonna hold for very long and head up the tower at the center of the church leading to where the bell is. After we get into the bell chamber, we destroy the stairs leading up. What follows is the Crusader and I holding off wights World War Z-ing their way up the temple walls with reach weapons and eldritch blasts respectively for the next few hours. An hour past dawn, the cleric is finally able to get spells going. He casts Airwalk on us and we f*** off out of town, with the Crusader having been blasted down to 1 HD with negative levels. Moral of the story? Never ever ever share loot with an NPC. Yeah. That's what went wrong here. Bard Sans Horn. B not me, DM. B also not me, Bodygon, Bard. Bodygon is constantly asking to roll perception to find the prettiest girl in the room, quote unquote, and then roll to seduce. Does this every time the group has downtime somewhere inhabited. Tavern, Roadside Inn, Marketplace, Royal Palace during Espionage Quest, All Male Monastery in one case. Player keeps it PG-13, but still annoying AF. Acts out really cringe speeches and masculine poses. Like Johnny Bravo with no self-awareness. Wastes average of 10 minutes per session on this DM lets him fade to black if he makes rolls, sometimes fudging just to get it over with. Gets more and more obnoxious every session. Goes on for months. Finally, the DM has had enough. Party gets a plot hook in a tavern while Bodygon is upstairs with a barmaid. They leave him behind and go off on adventure. Bodygon's player is pissed, but the DM assures him that he'll be able to catch up eventually. Evil DM smiled at JPEG. Dark cult corrupting local commoners, blah blah blah. Party gets to the Dark Temple and finds Bodygon tied to the altar. Barmaid was High Priestess of the cult, preparing to cut Bodygon's balls off as sacrifice to the Dark God. Party's archer readies a shot. The priestess raises a big meat cleaver overhead. Archer pauses, says he's waiting for the right shot. Cleaver swings down and the archer is still waiting. Priestess successfully severes Bodygon's junk. Archer finds his shot and takes it, and he misses. Fast forward 2 sessions. Bodygon, the now is trying to find a way to regenerate his junk. Party's cleric can't help, and the DM says this task is beyond the scope of healing magic in the setting. Bodygon tries to rules lawyer, but DM and Party remain willfully oblivious to his pleas. Party gets to a large city and gets a quest to raid the local thieves guild. After the party kills the boss, Bodygon runs around the hideout grabbing as much loot as he can carry. Drags it all to the temple of local love goddess. Offers it to the priest if the goddess will give his junk back. Priest says there's nothing he can do. Bodygon begs and pleads like pre-MOTM kobolds. I just want to again. Party rolls their eyes. Bodygon goes on and on until the DM has the priest capitulate. Rolls divine intervention. The goddess's warmth flows over Bodygon and other can't divine special effects. When light fades, Bodygon checks to see if his junk is back. It is not, but there is something new there. The goddess has changed Bodygon into a woman. The party dies laughing. Bodygon is not amused. His now her armor doesn't fit less muscular new form, so the party buys him now her a dress. Bodygon heads to the tavern to drink herself into stupor. At the tavern, she's approached by a flirty dude. DM describes the dude as greasy half-orc with a face like a half-melted manticore. Evil DM smiled at JPEG. Bodygon tells the half-orc to piss off. Half-orc persists. Half-orc grabs Bodygon's newly round bottom. Bodygon's player grabs dice to roll initiative. Player freezes mid-roll. Lightbulb at JPEG. Bodygon turns to the half-orc with a big smile, runs the fingertip down the half-orc's chest and asks what her time is worth to him. My face when the DM just unintentionally gave the bard license to start as a side hustle. After finishing with the half-orc, Bodygon goes to another bar. Rolls perception to find the richest, loneliest man in the room. Fast forward to next morning. Bodygon spends the night's proceeds on new armor that flatters my womanly curves, quote unquote. Changes character's name to Terry, claiming mythology buffs will get it. Continues to find NPCs to roll seduction on at every opportunity. Argues for advantage on performance rolls because I used to have a I know how they work. Party goes with it since Terry's antics are now paying for travel expenses and consumables. DM has created a monster. Jesus Christ. That was such a roller coaster of events actually. I know I shouldn't be, but I'm proud of the player somehow. I don't know why, I'm proud of the player being able to annoy the DM so much in this scenario. Party almost dies to a quote-unquote unicorn. Low-level party gets well-paid mission from a dwarvish clan. They need to hunt down a unicorn that was bothering farmers recently. Few context clues. In this world, you can meet both real and fantasy animals. This is a savanna-like environment where horses don't live, so natives don't know how they look like. Taken from the real world, hippopotamus translates to water horse, and natives know how they look like since they live in this climate. Dwarves of this region never seen a unicorn, but they knew that it was a horse with a spike on its head. Party butchered a history check. Yeah, anyway, a giant rhino almost TPK'd them. Fate worse than death. After dwarves accused one of a party member, who's also a dwarf, of treason, a trial began. Trial went poorly and the party dwarf was convicted. He has to face fate worse than death, exile from the Dwarf King alongside magical full-body depilation that prevented hair from ever regrowing, after which he would be considered a halfling by the dwarves. Don't think too hard about that. He has fallen to his knees, begging for the death sentence instead. The rest of the party was way more into it than they should be. But it didn't work. Party ended up saving him afterwards and the spell only consumed hair on top of his head, sparing the beard. Anyway, Wizard learned this spell later on, and since then she rolls with double advantage on intimidation against dwarves. Okay, that's a great ending. Anyway, on that note, that's gonna be it for today's video, so thanks so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you didn't subscribe from my haven't already. Also, big thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon, I really appreciate it, so thanks so much for those. Links below if you can check them out, as well as links to the social media, Discord, subreddit, and everything else. And yeah, that's it, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time, bye.